All right, today we're diving deep into Bharti Airtel, an absolute titan of the Indian telecom sector. We're going to look at everything from its global reach to its financial engine and really explore what every investor needs to know about this digital giant.
So, to get a sense of just how massive Airtel is, let's start with one number, 10.4 trillion rupees. Yeah, that's the company's market cap as of March 2025. A number that big tells you right away why Airtel is such a heavyweight in the investment world.
So here's our game plan for this explainer. First, we'll get to know Airtel as a digital titan. Then, we'll crunch the numbers with the financial scorecard. After that, we'll see how it stacks up in the market, look at what's ahead, both the good and the bad, and finally, we'll wrap up with the key takeaways.
Okay, let's kick things off with Section 1. We're going to get right to the heart of what Airtel is all about and the incredible scope of its operations.
Now, this comes straight from their annual report. And it might sound like typical corporate jargon, but for Airtel, this customer-first philosophy is everything. It drives their entire strategy, from network upgrades to new services. The goal? Create customers for life. This chart really paints a picture of their global footprint. I mean, look at that. India is obviously the mothership, with almost 425 million customers. But their massive presence in Africa and neighboring countries shows that Airtel is a true international player, connecting people across continents.
And you really can't think of Airtel as just a cell phone company anymore. They've built this whole integrated digital ecosystem. We're talking mobile, broadband, TV, digital payments, and even massive data centers for businesses. This diversification, it's absolutely central to their game plan for the future.
Okay, so let's pop the hood and look at the numbers. This is where we see how that whole ecosystem translates into financial performance. Welcome to the engine room.
For the 2024-25 fiscal year, Airtel's revenue blew past the 1 trillion rupee mark. Now that's not just a big, impressive number. It really highlights the enormous scale of their operations and their leadership position in the market.
And if we zoom in on the highlights, you see really strong double-digit growth. Revenue's up almost 16%. But even more importantly, EBITDA, which is basically a key measure of core profitability, is up over 21%. That tells you the growth is healthy and coming from the right places.
Now, for a number that every serious investor pays close attention to, the net debt to EBITDA ratio. For Airtel, it's sitting at a very healthy 1.7 times. So what does that actually mean? Well, simply put, it shows they have great financial discipline. A low number like this means the company is earning way more than enough to comfortably handle its debt. It's the sign of a strong, resilient balance sheet, which gives them the freedom to invest in what's next. And this chart breaks down exactly where that money's coming from. Of course, mobile services are the biggest piece of the pie, but look at how much comes from Airtel Business. This mix of consumer and enterprise customers gives them a much more stable and balanced way to make money.
All right, Section 3. Now that we've seen the financials, let's talk about how Airtel is actually doing in the super competitive telecom arena. This is where the rubber meets the road, and it's what drives their performance against rivals like Jio and Vodafone Idea.
This slide just shows you how aggressive they are with building out their network. They are on an absolute tear, rolling out 5G in the cities, but at the same time, they're pushing hard into rural areas. It's a two-pronged attack. Lead with the newest tech while also making sure nobody gets left behind.
And here's the secret sauce to their strategy. It's not just about getting more subscribers, it's about getting the right subscribers. They're focused on quality customers, people who are willing to pay for better services. This drives up their ARPU, or average revenue per user, which is a super important metric. It shows they're not just growing, they're growing profitably.
So, what does this all mean for the future? It's time to look ahead, to see the big growth opportunities and, just as important, the challenges that Airtel has to navigate.
Their future growth really comes down to a few key things. First, making money from that huge 5G investment, but it goes way beyond that. They're also scaling up their digital platforms like payments and streaming. They're dominating the Internet of Things market for businesses, and they're teaming up with global giants like Google and SpaceX. This is their roadmap for the future.
But of course, no investment is a sure thing. These are the big risks that Airtel itself is keeping an eye on. Regulations in the telecom world can change in a heartbeat. On top of that, you've got rising costs, the constant pressure to keep upgrading the network, and of course, data security. These are some serious headwinds to watch out for.
Okay, let's bring it all home.
In our final section, we're going to boil it all down to the key takeaways, the bottom line for anyone thinking about investing in Bharti Airtel. So here it is in a nutshell. First, Airtel has a rock-solid foundation with a huge customer base and a diverse digital business. Second, their financial health is strong, with great growth and smart debt management. Third, they are executing a clear strategy, go after quality customers and build the best network. Which leads us to number 4, a balanced outlook, with huge growth potential on one side and some very real risks on the other.
And that's really the big question, isn't it? There's no doubt Airtel is a powerhouse, actively building India's digital future. The real question for any investor is whether their strategy and financial muscle are enough to navigate those risks and keep delivering value year after year.
And that's our breakdown of Bharti Airtel. Remember, this is just a starting point to get you thinking. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Thanks for watching.